Hello, my dear friends. Friends, our Vedas are filled with rare, authentic, esoteric knowledge. Knowledge which can transform you. And also, many people have the notion, wrong notion, that the Vedas, the knowledge contained in the Vedas is only for Hindus. No. Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, these scriptures are universal. See, the organized religion is one thing, spirituality is one thing, right? See what happens, the avatara or divine incarnations in different forms at different places according to the need of the time, they come here in order to help humanity, and their teachings are then available in the form of sacred books. But what happens over time, a lot of the original information gets distorted due to wrong interpretations, right? So, the organized religion is okay, fine. In whatever religion you are born, I believe, you must follow that. No organized religion is bad. Of course, all organized religions teach the principles of humanity, like brotherhood. Don't bother about the wrong interpretations. I'm talking about the original. Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, Christianity, Islam, they're all fine, all good. Don't bother about the wrong interpretations which many people make. Read the original if possible and believe that the avatara cannot give wrong information, right? So all the organized religions are okay. In whatever religion you are born, you must follow that. But in order to evolve, you must follow certain information which is universal. And our Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, they contain universal knowledge, practical knowledge, which if you follow can transform you from puny little unsecure human to a superhuman. Now when I say superhuman, I don't mean any person of WWF type. No, by superhuman means one who rises above the materiality, the mud of materiality, which keeps one earthbound, life after life, right? Deprives us of harmony, deprives us of comforts, happiness in life, contentment in life, right? So the Vedas contain a lot of such information. Now Vedas talk about Purushartha. This is a Sanskrit word, Purushartha, which means the goals of life, right? And Vedas talk about four Purusharthas. And the great Tibetan Lama, Lobsang Rampa, was a master of all Vedantic knowledge. He has talked about this in his books and talked about these Purusharthas as the fruits of life. 4 fruits of life. Yes, in a sense, they are fruits of life. How? If you follow these Purusharthas, principles, then they fructify, they bring the fruits of wisdom, happiness, contentment in your life, and ultimately emancipation, moksha. Now what are these Purusharthas? The 4 fruits of life. These are, first is dharma. Now by dharma, many people take it as a organized religion, right? No, by dharma means universal principles of righteous living, not harming others. And the golden rule, if you want to follow this universal dharma, the golden rule is to do unto others as you want others to do unto you. If you do not want that others should deceive you, don't deceive others. Whatever you want from others, do like that, because it is a law of nature. Whatever you give is bound to come back to you, right? So dharma means righteous ways of living, not harming others, right? Moral principles, right? And purity of thought, very important. Unless your thoughts are pure, your actions won't be right. So the very first is dharma. If you follow the principles of morality, purity of your thoughts, and live righteously, then you will enjoy the fruits of contentment, happiness, true happiness, bliss. Now what is the next? Next is artha. Artha means ways of earning for livelihood. You need some source of income, but that source of income must be righteous, not based on corruption, on exploiting others. No, not based on your greed or lust, right? So you need a source of income in order to look after this temple. This body is your temple in which the soul resides. And only by living in this temple you will accomplish all the tasks which you had planned before birth. Right? So that is artha. Right ways of earning. Right? If you follow the wrong ways, corrupt ways, then you will damage your character, morality. So you will go back then, not progress. And the next one, third is kama. Now many people understand by kama wrong desires. No. Kama means desires, but only genuine, authentic, legitimate desires. Now if you have a car, it is fulfilling your purpose, but you want to have another latest model, a bigger car, a luxurious car. No, that is not a legitimate desire, right? So in order to fulfill your legitimate desires, to look after you, to look after those people who are dependent upon you, there is nothing wrong in progressing, in prospering more, but only that if you become wealthy, you will use your extra money to help others, not be selfish, go on accumulating money and then you die and leave it behind, right? No, there is nothing wrong in progressing, in working for more progress and prosperity, but in that include the welfare of others. Now if you do that, you get contentment, you get so many things in life as a fruit of observing these principles. And what is the last one? The last one is moksha, most important. Now moksha or nirvana is misunderstood, right? Moksha means that you don't have to come forcibly on this earth time and again, because this is a world of sorrows, isn't it? Right? You don't have to come here forcibly. You come here to learn certain lessons, but what about the previous bad karma, accumulated bad karma which you generated? Then you have to come here in order to work out that karma till that bad karma is finished, right? So if you follow the principles, work on overcoming your negative traits, live righteously, help others, then you move towards moksha, then you don't have to come here forcibly. But many people do come after that also because they want to help others. That is a different thing. It is not done forcibly, right? Now also many people have the wrong notion that moksha means end of reincarnations. No, life continues. It is life eternal. By moksha we mean that you don't have to come here on this lower plane of existence, material plane, on this earth, which is the world of sorrows. Then after emancipation from here, after moksha from here, you can move on to the higher dimensions, better places, have more harmony, more highly evolved, in finer places. So life continues. Moksha is not end of life, right? I hope you enjoy watching this video and you will learn a lot of things, because these are practical things given by our great rishis, given by the great God, so that we evolve, right? So if you have any question related to this topic, you are most welcome. Many people keep commenting about unrelated things. No, that is not good. Give some authentic, your authentic comments, right? The comments could be, if you don't like anything, okay, fine, but give the reason why you don't like, right? And share your thoughts so that others can also see. Share your good thoughts, right? So thank you for watching.